Hello everyone, welcome to another, well not Monday, but this time Tuesday live crafting session with Anna van Lucy Paper Crafts. I'll give everyone a second to hop on. So anyways, I thought I'd bring in just, because today is the last day to subscribe to this month's card club. And as you can see, the September edition is featuring the Plaid Tidings product suite with this really cool pack of plaid paper and like a lot of colors. So you can really use it for very different occasions. And also the stamp set and the dies we're using, they're all occasion, well, holiday occasion, I should say. So we have Thanksgiving, we have Halloween, we have, of course, Christmas, and then we have even a little bit of Valentine's Day in there. So this is a little treat box I showed in my Thursday video on my YouTube channel. And it's a really cool little chocolate bar wrapper, and it opens up like this. And as you can see, there's no cutting involved, no gluing. So you just put it together like this. Okay. And it actually stays put like this. Well, usually. Mine has gotten a little bit soft here with the humidity. So, yeah, it's just a cool little box. So if you're interested in how to make these, just hop on over onto my YouTube channel. And yeah, these are the different versions that I made this one in the video, and I had that kind of ready as a display. So those are the two things I just wanted to point out to you. Every other week, I have a new Match the Sketch challenge for you. And so this is the one that's going to be running all the way through, let's see here, from today all the way through the 28th. And as you can see, it's pretty simple. And I have two cards prepared for you that we're going to make together. So the first one I'm going to show you before we make the card. So that's this one. And as you can see, I'm using the new die set. It's called Stitched Leaves Dies, and it's actually a bundle if you want to. There's also a matching stem set. I'm just going to be using the dies today, and these are just wonderful. And I have here somewhat of a, more popping color combination for you. So let's just go ahead and make this card. And then, like I said, I have a second sample for you. So, and I figured we'll just mix it up a little bit with switching out the card base. So my color combination here is actually the Magenta Madness with the other new in color Just Jade. And the designer paper here has, a lighter tone actually of the Just Jade. And I feel like the Mint Macaroon is just a perfect match for it. So let's see here. We'll just try and make the card base in Mint Macaron this time. So I have my regular card base here. I'm just kind of flattening out the cutting edge here. My paper trimmer, I think, is a little bit rough sometimes on my paper. So, well, not rough, just the blade is going in a little bit too deep. So I like to just kind of flatten that out with my bone folder. Okay. So, Rhonda, please let me know if you can just at least see something. Otherwise, I'll have to just kind of make the cards. Well, I will post them definitely after the Facebook Live, so don't worry about that. Okay, just want my card here. Now, then I will need a piece of the designer paper. And this is the In Color pack, the combo pack. It's a 6x6 inch designer series paper pack for our new In Colors that just came out this year. And they have some really cool patterns in there. So all 5 colors come in this, typed background here. And then on the wet back side, you kind of have this wood grain. And then we also have these, striped circles. And then a grungy pattern on the back. Now I went with the Just Jade. And I'm going to cut this to, let's see, 2 1/4. That's what I cut. Just to have a little bit of room there. Okay, so 2 1/4. And then I will just cut it short for my length here, 5 1/2. So I need to cut off 1/2 inch over here. Okay. And I already know, I don't know if it's maybe my baby trimmer here, but okay, it's a little bit better. Okay, whew. So what you can do is either kind of check if your designer paper is lining up correctly. I know mine is going to peek out a little bit here on the side. Let's just see here. Oh, I have a little bit of a bent edge there, so I'll just flip it around and do it like this. Okay. And this is just me double checking, but like I said, I can already tell that, you know, just I'm just gonna take off, well, in German I would say almost 1 millimeter, but maybe half of that, so really just a tiny little piece. And you could do that, of course, after gluing it down, so really just a hair, that's what I took off. Okay, so I hope it wasn't too much. No, that was just perfect. Okay, so I'll just take my, there we go, my Tombow. Okay, let's hope I'm not messing it up. And I want to have a little bit of the, you know, the messy parts of the wood grain, so I'm just turning it around and putting it down there, because up here would be covered by all my leaves. So, and the good thing about liquid glue is you can move it around a little bit. So what I like to do is kind of take my card base and move it all around, and you can turn, you know, your card back and turn it on its back side and just kind of see that everything is lining up. Okay, so let's see here. Move it a little bit over there. But again, you can also just go ahead, you know, afterwards and trim it. But I'm happy with the way it looks right now. So just going to use my bone folder to really straighten out the glue. Because the only disadvantage I would say with the Tombow or with the liquid glue is that it can make thinner paper, like our designer papers, thinner of course than our cardstock, so it can sometimes it can create like little bubbles or bumps. So I just like to do that. Okay, so next thing is the ribbon. Okay, so following our sketch here, and so I'm going to use the Magenta Madness ribbon here. And yeah, I think that's going to look fun with mint macaron background. So there are multiple ways how you can do this. I'm always worried that my ribbon is not going to stay on, or that it's going to look wonky or something. So, but let's see here. Let's give it a test run. I'm going to use my silicone craft sheet, and I will use some Stampin' Seal. Let's see if that works. So first I'm kind of going to measure how much I might need. Okay. From top to bottom is easier. So let's see here. Kind of get an idea what length we need. I always like to put my adhesive on first and then eventually cut it off, so I'm not cutting it too short. So let's see if this is going to work. Okay, so I'm just running the Stampin' Seal across. Putting the cap on. And okay, it gets a little bit messy. I mean, our new glue, it's amazing. I think it's so much better than the Stampin' snail that we had before. So just getting that out of the way. And see here, how far does my glue go? There. Come on. I don't have very, my fine motor skills, do you call that too? are not really good today. I feel like my fingers are not really doing what they're supposed to do today. So, okay. Again, this is just me. You could also just, you know, use some glue dots or whatever. I just like my ribbon like on there. So, okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and trim my little piece off there. Okay. And another advantage is if you put, you know, the adhesive all the way, is you can keep your ribbon from unraveling, you know, when you cut it off now, because there's adhesive attached to it all the way. Okay. So I'll just fasten on my card again. All right. That looks good. And if you have a little bit of glue, you know, I have a little bit down here. Well, I'm not too worried about that because I will put my leaves and stuff up there. So, and but if you wanted to, of course, if you have a little glue razor, you could take that off. Let's see here. I hope I'm not messing it up right now. That's what I always liked about the snail, and it works also with the new Stampin' Seal, is that you can kind of rub it off. Okay, it's still very strong adhesive glue. Okay, now I'm just making a mess. Okay, so here's our card so far, and then I went ahead, I already cut out my leaves here, and maybe your die cutting machine is doing the same thing. Let's see if I can bring it up close enough, if my autofocus is going to do it. Can you see that you have a little bit of a, you know, edge there from the die cutting, leaving an impression? So again, what I like to do is just fold it flat, and you want to make sure that you're really grabbing your, you know, especially if you have tiny little pieces like the stem here, you really want to make sure you hold it down nice and tight, and have a little bit of lint, or paper lint, I don't even know what you would call it, going on. So I can see I have a little bit of an edge there. So make sure you hold your cardstock flat, and then just use your bone folder to kind of flatten it out. Okay, that should usually get rid of your impression there from the die cutting, unless you like it. Sometimes you know, it's leaving an impression, and I actually like it. But on this one, if it's uneven, I try to take that away. Okay, so just a little bit. And again, I mean, since I'm showing the whole leaf here on my card, really make sure you hold it down, otherwise you might rip off your little stem here. Okay, so let's see. I have a little bit more there, because you won't be able to do that afterwards. So I like to double check my die cut pieces before I adhere them. Okay, so now I'm gonna need my little box of adhesives here. Come on. And maybe you remember from last week when we were die cutting these those letters. So I told you, you can just keep these. Excuse me, I gotta sneeze here in a second. Excuse me. And so I'm just putting one down right here. That's from my O's. The middle's from my the middle from my O. So, but I'm gonna put a little bit. Let's see. Do I have a small sheet here? Well, I can use that up. It's always nice to use up some dimensional sheets, like bits and pieces. Okay, let's see here. Okay. It really depends on how you want that leaf to stick out or not. So I still would like to bend it up a little bit. I hope I'm still on camera. Thank you, Rhonda. It may be the first time that I was actually sneezing on camera. Okay, so we'll take that off. I just want to get all the die cut pieces out of the way. Okay, since I have my card sample here. Oh, I have a tiny little bug or something. So And let's see here. You see, I still have a little bit of extra paper there. Okay. I'm going to put the leaf there. I'm always, you know, you may be wondering, what is she doing now? I'm always picky with the arrangement. So I want to make sure I'm not going over there too far. And whether or not the ribbon is showing through at the back. Oh, did I take those off? Yes, okay, I did. So technically, if you wanted to, you could put dimensionals here, but I think having them up here, that's plenty. So now my leaves here, you actually get 2 in the die set. Let me see, let me grab that right quick. So you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different leaves. And I would need to double check. I have the screenshot somewhere, but Stampin' Up told us that all of these leaves, each one of them represents one of the big Stampin' Up markets. So one of them North America, then the you know, Australia and New Zealand, Europe, and let's see, then Japan is now a market. And I'm trying to think, because I think North America is actually United States and Canada combined. But anyways, so to me, I don't know, for me this is do you call it a chestnut tree? You know, the little chestnuts that you can, we had 2 huge trees in our driveway where I was growing up at our house. And so I just really love this one. And oh, what I wanted to point out to you is, so they do look the same, but they're actually going in 2 different directions, which I love. So you can kind of alternate. So, but the tip I wanted to give you was when you're, let's just see here, I have a little bit of that edge again. When you're placing the middle piece, if you want to have the stitching in the middle, they're not making like too much of a difference, but as you can see, this leaf here is actually bend this way, and so the middle piece should also kind of bend this way, and the same for the other one. Just a little tip there. I didn't care for that the first time I cut out the leaves, but then I just noticed, so it may not be that bad actually. So I'm cutting off the stems actually, because I'm not gonna, they won't show here on my card. So, oh, now my nose is running a little bit. Huh, what's going on today? So again, you could use liquid glue, or, you know, any kind of adhesive you like. I just want to use up all of these little glue dots that I still have from my past paper pumpkins. So, oh, speaking of paper pumpkins, the next one, the one for October, is already going to be a Christmassy one, but it will be an international edition. I think for the United States and Canada, it will come out in October. And for everybody else, I think then for the international markets, it's going to be November when they can actually purchase it. And because it is an international one, Stampin' Up's idea for that box actually is to have crafters connect all around the world. So they decided to have, I think it's going to be cards again, like full-sized cards like these. And there will be die cut or, you know, pre-die cut sentiments in English and German and French. So for someone like me, this is perfect because, you know, it's difficult for me at this point to get German stamp sets. So I could send cards because not everybody, you know, back home in Germany is very good in English. So I love to send them some German cards as well. And that's why I'm excited about that new, oops. Why is my ribbon a little wonky here? Is that just me? No. Well, we'll cover it up now with the leaf. So I'm excited about that paper pumpkin. And yeah, it's going to be fun. Okay. So I'll just use my bone folder here. Okay, that's our first one. And I'm just going to do the second one here as well. So, I forgot what it's called, the paper pumpkin, because it always, you know, usually every edition, every month has a name. I'm so excited to see what this month's paper pumpkin is going to be. Sign up date is over now, so you won't be able to get that one. It is, of course, a Thanksgiving, fall, Halloween themed one with treat boxes. So I'm excited to see what that's going to be like. And I'm also always curious about the stamp sets, because those are exclusive stamp sets you can only get on a paper pumpkin. So if you don't want to miss out on those, kind of broaden your collection, got to get the paper pumpkin in time. Always on the 10th of the month. Okay, let's see. How did I put this one in here? Again, I have all these tiny little pieces of die cut lint. I have to come up with its own name for it, maybe. So I'll just place that one. Oh, that's where my dimensionals are getting in the way a little bit. Okay, I think that's good. Now for the last part, Rhonda is still with me? Yes. Okay, so now for the last part, we need a sentiment. So I just have a little piece of just Whisper White cardstock, the regular one. And I decided to use one of my favorites, all-time favorites, Rustic Retreat. And I just love it, especially now for this time of year, because, you know, if you have hunters in the family or just people who love outdoors and nature, this is just a beautiful stamp set, because you have very different sentiments, appreciation, happy birthday, thinking of you, you know, something motivational, so to speak, and then also Christmas. And then you have a deer, a bear, this cute little, you know, cabin in the woods. And I'm going to use this one, Thinking of You sentiment, that comes on this kind of, you know, ragged piece of wood. I really love the design of that. So that's what I decided to use on my card. And if I can find my ink pad, there we go. So I'm just going to stamp that in the Just Jade. And there's no die set for this. I would love to have some dies for this stamp set. I know it would be awesome. But okay, there we go. Was that a little bit too much? So I'll let that dry for a second. So now I'm just gonna take my paper snips here and just kind of somewhat trace the shape of this wooden piece. We don't need to make it too complicated. I think it's just a really sweet idea for sentiment. I wish we had some more like that, you know, that are combined already with some kind of background. Because I don't think we have too many of those. Of course, I mean, there's some limitation to it, but still, depending on the color scheme and so on. Okay, let me just cut that off there. So just loosely following the edges here. And it's kind of funny, you know, how used to this white frame around your stamped images you know, I am at this point. I don't know about you, but I think it's kind of funny because that's just how, you know, that's what you're used to with Stampin' Up! Punches and dies. I know there's some manufacturers where they're cutting like straight on your stamped image. Okay, 1 and 2. Okay, and there we go. So there's card number 1. So which one do you like better? The one with the white card base or the mint macaroon? Let me know in the comments. And I will, like I said, I will post them after the live video. So you can comment there as well. I think both are cute. So this is just a little bit more toned down, I think, and this is just popping more because you have the white background to the magenta madness. Now, card number 2. Okay, how about I just show you now because I just love this card so much. So this is card number 2. So as you can see, it's the same design. It's the same idea, following our sketch. All right, so we're gonna need a couple of pieces again. We have our Whisper White cardstock base, and it's a thick one. So, but again, I'm just flattening out. I feel like it's a little bit different with every blade that I put into my trimmer. Sometimes it's not doing this kind of edgy thing, and sometimes it does. So okay. Just getting that out of the way for a second here. So I have my card base. Now I have a piece of the petal pink, and I embossed this with my Stampin' Up, what's it called now? Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I used I think it's called Denti Diamonds. It's a really beautiful embossing folder that is in the Peony product suite in the main catalog. So, and I just kind of love the effect that it leaves. You know, this is actually the upside to it. Let's just see if you can see that. You know, you have these little dots here, but if you turn it around, it almost looks like stitching. So that's what I wanted to pick up from the leaves here. So that's what I'm going to do. Sometimes, you know, just have a look and turn your embossed pieces around. And I'll still have to trim it down a little bit. I know that. How much did I do here on this card? Yeah, it was a little shorter than 2 inches. So sometimes you just, you know, your pattern. I took one big piece, 5.5 by 4. That's pretty much the size of the embossing folder. So I just embossed one big piece of the cardstock, and then I just cut it in half. So, and then sometimes depending on your pattern, you might want to trim it down just a tiny little bit. So that's what I'm going to do here. Okay. So just like that. That's gone. And let's see, do I need to do, yeah. Because I have these weird little lines there that I want to get rid of. They just irritate me a little bit. So I'm a very easily irritated crafter. So again, it's just, you know, just trimming it a little bit to fit my sentiment. And so that's gonna go here on my card base. I'm going to use my liquid glue again. So pretty much the same, putting the card together. Oh, I know what I wanted to do first, but that's fine. And again, just using my surface here to kind of get it in place. Oh yeah, sometimes doing it this way it's much better. And now it's a little bit tricky to spread out the glue, so I like to do that on the inside actually now. Because if I were to do it here out front, I might mess up the beautiful embossing pattern to it, so I'll just do it like this. You just want to make sure that your, especially on the white cardstock, you just want to make sure that your bone folder is pretty clean. Okay, so now there's your card base, and instead of using a ribbon, because I don't think we have anything in basic gray, so I'm just going to cut a tiny little piece off of this one here. Let's just see. Okay, I hope this is somewhat straight in there. Okay, so that's just my strip. I think that's a 1/16 of an inch. Okay, and I'll just put that back in there. Oh, I just noticed something funny of my die cut leaf here. So I'll just, which is my front, which is my back. I'm going to use the liquid glue again, the Tombow. I hope I'm still on camera. So this is where actually a full bottle works the best. And just with some very light pressure on the barrel here. Because like I usually, always say, we're just gluing paper to paper, so it doesn't need crazy much. Okay, so I see my card here. And I'm going to just push it right against my embossed layer here. Okay, kind of push it 7 in length. Okay, just push it down. You want to make sure that you don't have too much glue on here. I know I have a little bit right there. I can feel the glue, so just trimming my glue eraser here a little bit so it works better. Okay, now if you wanted to I like to kind of dab and see if I have some glue somewhere else. No. Now I can go ahead, like with the other card and the ribbon, I can just trim these off. Sometimes I actually cut it to the card base, so if you're wondering, yeah, it happens to me too. So just turning around. Oh yeah, I cut it a little bit, a tiny bit straight. Not straight. So anyways, that's that part. Ooh, you see now I have all that seal, Stampin' seal from the back side. So you want to make sure you clean your craft sheet every now and then. I think I need to wipe mine down with some cleaning alcohol, rubbing alcohol. Okay, so now comes the tricky part. Okay, not because this is not the tricky part, embossing the leaf. The tricky part is going to be stamping your sentiment right on there. So I'm going to use the basic gray, and I got my sentiment, just wanted to say hello, from the Today's Tile stamp set. And I really love this one. I'm still planning on doing a class just for this stamp set because it's so much fun using this in all kinds of color combinations with the Stamparatus. But it also has just an amazing set of dies to make beautiful layered tags and backgrounds. But I also love the sentiments. So, and I love that this one is, has a very modern look, like this color combination. So wish me luck that I'm stamping it on straight. So I'll put my bone folder here to keep my card base closed. I'm inking this up. Just testing. Okay, my ink pad is juicy. And let's see here. Okay, so you might see my hair here for a second. Okay, there we go. Whew, okay. It's pretty dark at first, the basic gray, but it loses a little bit of its intensity after a second. Okay, so we put that aside, and now let's do this fun part. So I have my 2 leaves here, okay, and then I have this one here, and that's what I said. What I just found, a skull from last year's Halloween crafting. I didn't even see that. So I cut the same leaf with the Love of Leaf dies. Well, Stitched Leaves dies, actually. So, and now we're going to do some embossing. And the way to make this neat little effect is just use your Versamark ink pad. And I have some coffee filter over here. And I wanted to do it in silver. No, that's not silver. Let's see, where's my silver one? Here's my silver one. Okay. Okay, so what we're going to do is take our leaf here and just kind of dab it onto our Versamark. Okay, that way we get a little bit of Versamark, you know, everywhere. And if you feel like you have some harsh lines, just kind of maybe dab it on again. Okay, so let's just see here. Yeah, that looks a little bit nicer. So closing that up. And now I'm probably going to have a lot of embossing powder on there. We can already, like I did on my sample. So you might want to go slow here. Just stepping it on a little bit. And it is, you know, I don't want to say subtle effect, but since you're doing silver on gray, but still it's really creating a wow factor. I think that's good. As you can see, like I have a lot of powder on there. Okay, I'm not really sure on my camera. So just dab off a little bit more. It's a tricky leaf here because I have this very thin stem that I don't want to rip. So yeah, it'll work. I mean, if you wanted to, you could just use, you know, something, and like I did last time with the beach wave effect, just kind of scrape some off to make it even more random somewhat. Okay, so yeah, I'll just leave that in there for now. Just want to make sure I don't have embossing powder everywhere. I had a huge mess when I made my first part. I know I need to get some bigger containers to make this work out better. Okay, so I'll just get that out of the way. Just want to make sure that it's all melted. Okay, I think that's good. I'll put that aside and let it cool down. Okay, so there we go. Oh, I just love the effect of this. It's just so pretty. Let me see. There. It's a camera. Okay, so I'll just pull this back in again a little bit. So it's pretty stiff now, actually. So if you still want your leaf to have a little bit of pop, just be careful with it. You can actually make your own, like, really sturdy embellishments like that. Just by, you know, embossing over and over again on the same thing. Okay, so now same thing as before. I'm gonna put a dimensional right there on our leaf, and let's use some sheet of dimensional up here. Where did I put my scissors? There. So I'll just use these little strips here. Okay, one, kind of put them there. 2, 2, and 3. Okay, so we're almost done. And again, just using my, it's all dry. I think that's pretty straight on there. It's nice because you can use the hello, you know, that's all in one line. Oh, I still had, again, some messy edges there. Okay. I actually had it a little bit lower. Okay, there we go. I'll just put it there. That looks good. So again, I have a little bit of a die cut edge here, so just flatten that out. I'm not going to worry about the stem because I'm going to cut them off here in a second anyway. So, snip, and snip. And again, I'm just going to use my little dots here. 1 and 2. Okay. Making sure they stick. All right. Almost there. Okay, let's see here. I had this one down here. No, I actually had this one up here. That's kind of somewhat going in a curve over there. So, okay, my dimensional might get in the way a little bit, but that's fine. So, up there. And number 2. All right, so, and that's card number 2, the little bit of a stepped up version with the embossing. Of course, you could emboss your sentiment there. You could do that too. But, yeah, so here's a very shiny card. I'm afraid that the color of the petal pink isn't even showing all that well here in my camera. But, yeah, just see. Okay. So that's card number 2. How did you like that one? So let me bring in the first 2 cards. And, so here we made, you know, just switched out the cardstock in the background. And with this one, let's just see it, put it this way. But always following the sketch. And as you can see, it doesn't take much. It's just really, you know, your card base, a strip of designer paper or an embossed cardstock, a strip either of ribbon or cardstock, and then just your sentiment. And something, you know, flowery or whatever. I mean, you could also, you know, put a Christmas tree there or anything like that. So that's today's Match the Sketch challenge. Like I said, it's going to be running through from today to, I should have put down the date. Let's just see, 28th, September 28th. Oh, that's a good, easy date for me to remember. So, yeah, just go ahead and make a card and share it with us. Thanks for tuning in, and you have a wonderful week. Bye!